Hello, my name is Lester Thornhill, and I am the President and CEO of Life's Abundance. Our purpose as a company is to empower people and pets to live healthier, happier lives. And we do that by offering 3 distinct lines of products, one for dogs, one for cats, and one for people. For dogs and cats, we offer a wide variety of products from food to treats to supplements, pet care products. And for people, we also have a wide variety of products, everything from nutrition products to skincare products and eco-friendly cleaning products. Now, products vary a lot in weight, from 1 pound to 44 pounds for one of our pet foods. We're primarily business to consumer, and 99% of our packages we actually ship to the customer, where our products aren't sold in stores. So we have a network of warehouses located all around the United States of America that we use to ship products to our customers quickly. Like most companies in the United States and around the world, in 2020, we were impacted by the COVID-19 crisis. And we made the decision on the 18th of March to send our employees home, the ones that work in the office, to work remotely, we thought at the time, for 2 months. It's ended up being much longer, of course. But our warehouse employees, they stayed behind to continue to ship packages out to our customers. Because our food is not found in stores, it's really critical, because primarily we sell pet food, that we keep those orders going out. Now, about 2 months into our work at home in May, we actually had our first employee come into a Florida warehouse not feeling well. They passed the temperature check, but we sent them to get tested for COVID-19 anyway, just to be on the safe side. And 4 days later, they came back positive. And that meant that all the other employees in our Florida warehouse had to go get tested themselves, and they had to quarantine. So the warehouse was effectively closed. This was our first crisis of the COVID-19 pandemic. Now, we have hurricanes in Florida. So there's been times in the past where we've had employees come in from the office to help out the warehouses to get the packages out the door. So the logical thing to do would be to call up some of those employees who had experience shipping packages before, put a B team together, and go in and get the packages shipped out. But that is actually not what I did. The team of people that I chose to ask to go in to ship packages, outside of me, had never shipped a package before. They weren't familiar with the software that we use for pick and pack. They're not familiar with the process, not familiar with anything. Here is the team I actually chose. I chose Bill, who was our newly minted operations manager at the time. I chose my son, Jordan, and his best friend, Jared, had them come in to help. I chose Lindsay, our compliance clerk, and Sasha, our executive project director. That was a team. Now, it would seem, based on the fact that we had people with experience, that I made some questionable choices when it came to figuring out who was going to come in and help us to get these packages out the door. But that's only if shipping the packages was my primary goal, and it actually wasn't. So you need to know something about me. I believe that you should always position your company to withstand risk. And one of the best ways of doing that is taking opportunities when the company is under stress to figure out how to improve the company. So I liken it to working out. If you exercise and you put your body under stress, you get healthier. You cannot rest yourself to better shape. So taking all the stress off of your body actually makes you sicker. And I believe it's the same for our companies. So when the pandemic happened, which was a major stressor, I was determined, I was obsessed with finding ways that we could get better through the pandemic and make our company stronger so that we could be around for 100 years. Now, as leaders, we tend to be natural problem solvers, and that's wonderful. But sometimes we miss out on opportunities. You know, our responsibility is to solve problems, but it's also to take advantage of opportunities. Now, in the past, personally, I would solve problems would see an issue, I'd solve the problem, but I would miss the fact that there was an opportunity to improve the company as a result of the issue. But what happens, I think sometimes, is that the problem is easy to identify, but the opportunity not as easy. Now, in this particular situation, this warehouse crisis, there was no defined opportunity at all. And this is when I think it gets interesting, because you don't see a defined opportunity, and I believe that you can still improve the company, but it comes down to faith. And this is what I mean by that. If I see a big lake, I believe there's fish in that lake. Why? Past experience. How many times do I have to see a big lake contain fish before I make the correlation that big lake equals fish? So I believe if I send a team of fishermen to a big lake with proper gear, they're coming back with fish. The warehouse crisis to me looked like a big lake. It looked like an opportunity that was just waiting to be exploited, even though I couldn't define exactly what the opportunity was. So I felt that my job was to assemble a team of people that would go in and, yes, ship the packages out, but also find us opportunities to improve as a result. Now, here's what I was actually looking for in the team of people that I chose. Because remember, I said that we had people with experience, but I didn't take any of them. I chose a team of positive thinkers. If you're skeptical or you have a more critical mind, it's harder sometimes for you to spot opportunities. So I wanted positive thinkers. I wanted team players. These were people that didn't work together on a regular basis, and they needed to gel really quickly as a team. And so I made sure I chose team players. I knew that everybody on that team loved the challenge. Some because they loved the challenge of learning something totally new and being exposed to a totally different experience than they were used to. And some because they were ultra competitive and wouldn't allow themselves to fail. I wanted critical thinkers on the team because that was very important to finding opportunities to improve. I chose a team of people that were gifted in ideation. Some people can't come up with big and bold ideas, and other people sweat the little details. And both are important for pragmatic innovation. And most importantly, I chose a team of people where nobody on the team is afraid to tell me the truth. So I was going to get the good, the bad, and the ugly. I was really concerned about the packages, but not as much as I was looking for the opportunity. I really wanted to go after pragmatic innovation here, and it worked out better than I could have even hoped. We ended up shipping packages for a week. Well, I only shipped for 3 days personally because I had to go back to the day job, but we ended up shipping packages for a week. And we left with pages of ideas for how we could improve things. We actually came up with ways that we could print the orders differently that would make shipping faster and easier. We came up with ways to assemble boxes differently. We came up with ways to save on tape. We came up with ways to improve the software that we use in the pick and pack process to make it more efficient. We came up with ways to locate products more efficiently that would help us to pack the boxes faster. We came up with the first use case for artificial intelligence in the company, so we did have some big, bold ideas. And we came up with this, a palletizing robot that's going to be in all of our warehouses by the end of the year. Now, here's the thing. I believe that innovation like this is only possible with the right culture. I believe your culture has to set you up for this type of innovation. So here's the first thing. Nobody batted an eye when I called. Now you have to remember, this is May, and we're still learning about COVID-19. People are still very scared. And I called them up, and without hesitation, they agreed to come in to work in a warehouse where somebody has just tested positive for COVID-19. And everybody was eager to do it. In fact, The only pushback that I got was from the employees I didn't call. Les, how come you never called me? I would have come in. I wanted to help. Geez, if you had called me, I was available. Which is amazing. And it's because we have a wonderful team of people, but it's also because of the culture that we have. Now, although there were some people that already had the experience of shipping packages, I actually believe that we're better off now that we have even more people that are cross-trained, now that we have even more people that can help in a crisis in Florida or some other warehouse. And even though in our culture, everybody knows that I wouldn't ask them to do anything that I wouldn't do myself if I was able to do it, I think it was still important for me as a leader to go in and to ship packages with the team. I think it was important to set that example. And I think it was important for them to know that I was also willing to take my son and his best friend and bring them in as well. So even though that's already embedded into our culture, I think that'll help make us a stronger company moving forward. Here's the other thing about our culture. We really talk about being a company of learners. And on that team, we had people that were just jumping at the opportunity to learn something new. We also had people that were eager to find ways to help the company improve. And both those things are just critical if you're going to really go after pragmatic innovation. The other thing that was really interesting is that I believe that you need to have a culture of collaboration if you're going to opportunistically go after pragmatic innovation like this. I mean, just think about it. We now have pages of ideas to improve the warehouse, but nobody actually works in the warehouse. So we actually sat down virtually with the warehouse team from all over the country, all over the company, and said to them, here's the things that we found, here's the things that were difficult for us, here's the things where we think we can improve. What do you think? In some companies, that would not go very well, because who are you to tell us how to do our job, right? But in our company, just because you find a way to improve something is not a criticism of the way things are right now. And the warehouse team was not defensive. They were receptive. They sat with us. They were super excited to be talking about this. They actually thought it was really cool that we had tried to do their job and found out how hard it is to do. And they worked with us on the ideas, and together with them, we were able to come up with a plan in multiple stages to improve the warehouse, make all these exciting improvements. But that only happens when you have a culture of collaboration. The other thing that was important is to have a culture of communication. This happened because everybody already knew the philosophy of stress making a company better. Everybody already knew how much we believed in pragmatic innovation. Everybody already knew about our culture of learning. So none of this was new information. It's really hard to not communicate with the team and then spring something like this on them out of left field. So this didn't come out of left field. It was almost like they were expecting something at some point. And everybody had heard stories about some of the crazy things we've done in the past to really help the company improve. And honestly, everybody that was on this team was really eager to play their part in one of our crazy stories, because they knew we'd be talking about this for months and years to come. So here's the thing about innovation, though. You have to know the difference between a big lake with lots of fish and a puddle of rainwater that has no fish. And you get there through experience. You know, when I started thinking about this presentation, I thought it was going to be about don't solve the problem and miss the opportunity. But it's about more than that. It's about being opportunistic in the way that you innovate. So what I would beg you to do is not just to take advantage of obvious opportunities, but to become an opportunistic innovator and go fishing. You know, one last thing. When we were actually in the warehouse shipping these packages out, we suddenly realized that nobody was actually forklift certified, and we had to use a forklift as part of doing this job. So we realized that one of the things that we needed to do to make the company stronger in the future is members of the office staff had to become forklift certified. So we did a forklift training in the middle of the pandemic, and as a result, we now have Hard Hat Sasha. Thank you.